you're tired of your boss only recognizing your performance at the end of the year at a performance evaluation or just pointing out what you do wrong, well, take a look at this clip because it's for you.
Hacking human behavior.
Lisa Cassidy, I'm so pumped about the project that we're working on and everything you've been doing with it. So Lisa is one of the leaders of the social skills programs where we go into the community. And Lisa and the team and BDA has come up with an effective way of providing frequent, immediate positive reinforcement for staff for great engagement of social skills with learners. So what's pretty exciting is, do you want to show the cameras, like every staff member on a community activity with a learner has their company ID, and then on the back of it there's a bar scan code, just like you would have at a grocery store when you're scanning items. And what Lisa does is, when she identifies excellent performance by a staff member when they're out on the community activity, what Lisa does is she recognizes what they're doing, walks up, says, "Awesome job engaging with the learner," and she scans the back of their ID, which has the bar scan. And then at the end of the day, she circulates the number of points that each person got for scan. So each scan has a certain number of points. And it's really cool because at the end of the week, there's an email that goes to them telling them the total points they've accumulated for excellent performance on the job. And what our plans are now is to once a week spin the wheel on a variable ratio schedule, and the staff are going to earn dollar amounts based on the number of points they get for scans. The more frequent immediate reinforcement is way better for Lisa to deliver using a scanning motion than it is to wait for 2 weeks for a bonus. So what happens is, it's a condition reinforcer, and the staff is like, "Oh shit, okay, I just got recognized for doing something great," and they're rewarded for their performance as opposed to just waiting for 2 weeks and seeing if they get some kind of bonus. So the principles of behavior analysis and performance management are totally executed in an awesome way because of the fact that it's immediate, it's frequent, and it's small amounts. And those three behavioral principles are what drive high levels of peak performance. And what's cool is someone like Lisa, who's highly skilled at identifying great performance by staff, she catches it, she scans them. What are some things that you look for when you scan someone and give them a delivery of a reward? What are some things you look for?
Engagement. I like watching them have other kids interact with each other. That's really cool, especially when they're getting play games, like at the pool when they're playing catch.
Yep.
I also scan them just for doing wearing their ID or exchanging the LOS, the use of the LOS.
Yeah, so the level of supervision card, just for you guys that don't know, we think that's the most important factor for safety in the community, because therapeutic ABA services are great and they're important. However, safety is the most important thing in the community. So when you take learners out in the community, one of the big challenges is making sure there's a level of supervision card which indicates all the most important critical information to keep that child safe, like whether or not they're supposed to be arm's length, whether or not they have any allergies or any important factors that keep the learner safe, because we think the safety takes a higher priority than the ABA therapy, because safety obviously is the most important thing. So I love what you're doing, because you're catching them with their level of supervision card, making sure they have it, and then you're rewarding them just for having it?
For having it, for using it, and for returning it.
That's awesome. So I really think that the future, and I know Lisa shares this vision with me, the future of performance management and staff engagement and creating excellent performance from staff members, whatever the industry is going to be based on some sort of paperless system of scanning people on the spot using blockchain. I think blockchain, not necessarily all the Bitcoin crap, but there'll be some form of cryptocurrency that it's after she scans them and recognizes their excellent performance, the manager scans it, and then there's going to be some form of the use of blockchain, and that'll be the future. And then people will get deposits in their accounts immediately that day, or maybe that minute, for excellent performance. So it's just I hope I can be historically correct on this, but I think, you know, it might be 50 years from now, but I'd like to go on record that hope in 50 years from now, managers that use good behavioral principles are going to be going around delivering immediate, frequent reinforcement through the use of a scan type system like this. It doesn't take the place of her just generally saying, you did an awesome job. You know, it doesn't take the place of that.
And I'm still doing that.
Yeah,
I'm just doing
you're
it both.
pairing it with it. Man, that's awesome. I really think that'll be the future, because right now things are going paperless as it is. Most companies are doing annual performance reviews, and that there's no way that that's effective at changing employee performance or producing excellent performance. People are paid by the hour, they're not paid by their level of performance. They're paid by the hour or by salary. But what Lisa's doing is moving the ball forward just a few inches to make sure that people are highly rewarded for every engagement of every action they take on the job, which I think is just friggin' incredible. What other things do you kind of look for to catch and recognize and scan? So LOS cards, great engagement. What's an example of great engagement that you would catch a staff doing?
Like I've seen bring her learner over to another learner and have them communicate with each other.
Cool.
So I'll run right up and be like,
that's awesome.
You know.
So created a social skills moment between two learners by bringing one over,
right,
having them communicate with each other appropriately, and then you saw it, and then he went over and scanned it and
exactly.
said, awesome job.
And the VC's on duty too. I tell them keep an eye out, and
Yep.
they'll let me know if they see something. Then I'll run up and I'll scan it. So there's two
That's
sets
great.
of eyes.
So the Board Certified Behavior Analyst will be on the activity, floating around, supervising and coaching people, and then they'll let Lisa know, hey, they deserve a scan. So the keys to everything are the behavioral principles are being taken to a whole nother level through immediate, frequent, small amounts of reinforcement, which shape successive approximation towards excellent employee performance, as opposed to waiting till the end of the year and hoping you get a bonus. So our hopes are that we can quickly get it so that they're getting the immediate reinforcement of her scanning it and saying, thank you, you did an awesome job. They're getting immediate reinforcement at the end of the shift by seeing, it is somewhat public posting of performance, because she circulates by text the number of points that they each received, right?
Yep.
And then they should be also getting a dollar amount based on the number of points they have and a wheel spin.
Yep.
So that way it all translates to dollars. This is an A/B design, so it doesn't mean that there's robust functional control. For all you ABA geeks like me, this is not going to show experimental control. What we would need is a multiple baseline across behaviors or across employees or across settings. And then what Lisa will do is stagger the time she implements it for the multiple baseline to another time. That way you can determine if the behavior change is occurring due to the intervention or not. So we're going to end up running a multiple baseline, which is really cool. I would say there's probably some risks. There's probably some risks to high levels of engagement. And let me ask you if you know what they are. There could be risks to the learner not getting the best services if there's real high levels of engagement. What are they? I'm just quizzing you.
The learner becomes dependent on the CA. He doesn't fade back.
I see
Yeah.
that. So,
But I will still reinforce for that if I see the learners engaging. Like I can still say, great job fading back, your learner's doing awesome.
yeah. So
Yeah.
in order to rule out the concern that we have where if they're over engaging too much, the learners become prompt dependent on the staff to say, all right, do this, do that. There's too much engagement, so then they're not fading. But now you can start identifying the staff that are slowly fading their prompts.
Yep.
And what would be an example of a prompt fade that you would reward for the staff for fading? What's an example of something you might reward?
Well, if their learners are engaging, they can start the engagement and then kind of take a few steps back, let it go,
exactly.
and then jump in
So
as needed.
the spatial or the spatial proximity. So you're actually going to reward the performance of the staff member that kind of fades back instead of hovering over them.
Exactly.
Awesome. You could start reinforcing the fading of prompts from heavy verbal and physical prompts to stepping back and just gesturing, right?
Yeah.
And then that's so awesome because you're shaping successive approximations, and that's the optimal way of avoiding them being over engaged and then creating a dependency. Man,
Right.
That's awesome.